Good evening. Welcome to the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club Monday Evening TechNet. This is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo. My name is Jim and I'll be net control for this evening's net. We're looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now.
Whiskey 2, Mike, India, Charlie, Mark, no squirrels.
Evening, Mark. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, just terrible. The raccoons have figured out that my squirrel trap on the ground is always baited, so at about 10:30 p.m., just like clockwork, they come through, roll it over 4 or 5 times, and scarf down all the seeds they've spilled out. And meanwhile, some young squirrel, whom we shall name Einstein, or perhaps Einsteinette, because we don't want to be sexist, has figured out that in my suspended trap, all he, or perhaps she, has to do is reach their furry little paw in and tip the bait dish over, and all the seeds spill down on the ground. And I said, oh, no problem, I'll just zip tie the bait dish in place, and young Einstein has figured out that he or she can bite through the zip tie and tip the bait dish over and spill all the seeds on the ground. So I'm going to have to go to wire. In any event, they're winning. Squirrels 2, Mark 0.
That never makes for a good week. Anyway, thank you for checking in. There was a station that doubled with you. A station that doubled with Mark. Please call again.
Yeah, that was K1DEG, Mike in Blackville.
Evening, Mike. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing all right. No reason to complain. I don't have to worry about squirrels.
That's always a good time when you don't have to complain about anything. A lot worse stuff could be going on. But thank you for checking in. We have anyone else wanting to check into tonight's TechNet? Please call.
This is KE0LCK, the other Mike from Wonder, and no squirrels.
I'd hope not. How are you doing this evening, Mike?
Well, we recently had a replacement of our deck railing, which precluded the use of our hangers to put up our bird feeders. So we haven't been able to put the bird feeders up, so we don't have the squirrels coming around. Don't have squirrels, don't have birds. No problems.
At least you have your radio. No squirrels to eat through your antenna wire. Thank you for checking in. And there's a station that doubled with Mike. Doubling station. Please call again. Hey, hear nothing. Looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now.
KE0UFJ, Uniform Foxtrot Juliet, Tim, northbound 925 in the rat race.
Evening, Tim. How are you doing this evening?
Alright, surviving the heat, but other than that, it's all good.
Yeah, at least it's cooled down into the mid-80s and not in the 90s like it has been. But thank you for checking in. This is KA6ETE, net control for this evening's NCARC TechNet. Looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now. Yeah, hear nothing. We'll move on. Hopefully get some more late check-ins. Last week started out kind of light and ended up with 14 total from late check-ins during the net. But anyone currently on have any questions or comments for the net?
LCK?
LCK, the other Mike from Windsor. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if you have, but I know Marcus had some experience with a newer device, a Mobi-linked TNC. It's like a Bluetooth type device that allows traffic to pass between, I'll say, the computer and this device hooked up to a radio out onto the world. So I was just wondering, has anybody had any experience with an iOS type device hooked up to this rather than just the Android type?
MIC.
MIC, Mark, go ahead.
W2MIC. Phil Burke, KE0LCK, I believe has either knows of or has experience with an Apple iPhone compatible and or iPad compatible device. The Mobi-Link only works with Android, but I believe there is an iPhone solution. Talk to Phil.
Yeah, I saw the Mobi-Link says now with their number 3 version or something like that, supposedly it works with iOS devices, but all the sampling or examples that they're giving is, well, here's what we have to do on Android, so it didn't really lead me in the right direction. And I do remember talking to Phil earlier, and I can't remember the name of the device, but it put me in mind of the name Frogger or something like that. I don't know.
Yep, I apologize. I have a Gen 2 Mobi-Linked, and I really have not tracked the Apple stuff, but Phil reported that he knew how to solve that problem, so I will point you to him.
Okie dokie, thank you very much. It's KE0LCK, back to net.
That's a good question. I know a lot of people are wanting stuff to work with iOS. I know me personally, I use all Apple devices and haven't had much luck finding a lot of stuff that'll work with them. I know there are, because of the people wanting it, there is some manufacturers are starting to use it, but I know Apple is very picky on what they allow to be used with their devices, and I know some manufacturers and programmers are having issues getting stuff approved from Apple for use. So definitely talk to Phil and see what he has. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Please call now.
Use 0ASP with a check-in and a question.
ASP, Terry, go ahead.
Question is for people who are using 10 meters for communication. And my environmental measurements, usually measuring TV station reception on 4 meters, has indicated that the sporadic E levels have dropped significantly in the past couple of weeks. And I would like to get some anecdotal evidence from people who are using 10 meters for communication, if that is still being effective for them, or if it has dropped off dramatically in the last few weeks.
That's a good question. I know a few weeks ago I tried 10 meter. I haven't been able to get into it, which I'm thinking it's just my antenna. It's working on every other band, but hasn't been very good on 10 meter. I haven't been able to get any contacts. Anyone else have any experience to help Terry out with this question? Please call. Not hearing anything. I don't know if it helps at all. I know I've been using 6 meter quite a bit recently, and I've been having real good luck with that. I know it's not 10 meter, but it's fairly close anyway. I know it's same. But 6 meter's been good. I've been getting coast to coast on 6 meter and haven't noticed anything dropping off on that.
Well, that was going to be my next question, because 6 meter is, of course, higher frequency, and closer to the 4 meter that I'm using for measuring the TV stations. But I'm really rather surprised that 6 meter gets through well and 10 meter doesn't.
Yeah, and that's what I've been surprised with. I know the 6 meter, I've been having real good luck, usually between 8:30 in the morning till about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it starts fading out. But between them times, I've been getting real good. I mean, I've been constantly between Wisconsin and New Hampshire, and quite a few in California up into Washington and Oregon area. So, I mean, that's been fairly consistent just about every day between those times.
And for 6 meter, that makes a lot of sense. So I think there's still a lot more sporadic-y out there than I think.
Yeah, I know. The one thing I use to check the propagation, I know there's the DX maps that's live tracking. People log on and log their contacts, and you can follow the cluster of contacts for all the different bands as it moves around the world. And I know that's been fairly good in showing what's active and what's been getting good propagation. I know I think it might cover all the way, it might cover 4 meter. I know they do a lot of different off frequencies and stuff like that just for propagation purposes.
Roger that, and I do know about some of these global resources, but I really like to hear from the local hams who are actually doing it. W0ASP.
Yeah, definitely. First-hand knowledge is always better than the resources online. But yeah, thanks for the question. Anyone else have any comments for the question on hand? Please call. There's a snake in my boot! Yeah, this is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo, net control for this evening's NCARC TechNet. Do we have any late check-ins or any questions or comments for the net? Please call now. It sounded like there was someone trying to call there, but you did not make the repeater quite good. Just caught a little blurb at the end before the repeater cut out. Try again.
Checking in.
I have a question, just to get a little bit more knowledge on it, that I've been playing around with, is building directional antennas for satellite communications. I've been playing with a home-built 2-meter 440 directional antenna. Both of them run all the elements for the 240 and the 2-meter and 440. Both run the same direction to where I can use both, either vertical or horizontal. Direct feed to both with a small loop in the wire. Been having decent luck with it, but I've just been trying to get it tuned for both frequencies a little bit better, running about 1.7, 1.8 to 1 SWR on the 2-meter and closer to 2 to 1 for the 440. Anyone have any tips or tricks on stuff they've done for home-built directionals?
Your 2-meter should be horizontal and your 440 should be vertical.
I've seen a lot of stuff saying that they should be the opposite between vertical and horizontal, and I've seen some different ones playing with them, both same directions. Whenever I try, I know I have one that I had good luck with running them vertical and horizontal between the 2-meter and 440, and decided to try one running both same direction. But just been playing around a lot with different antennas and a lot of home-built stuff just to pass the time.
Low loss cable is your friend too.
Yeah, definitely. I've been using the LMR 400 cable, and so it's definitely low loss for what we're using until you get into the real stiff stuff, which isn't very friendly for handheld antennas. But anyone else have any comments or questions? Please call.
You can still use LMR 600 with a pigtail. And that concludes our net for this evening.
This is KA6ETE net control for this evening's NCARC TechNet. If we have any additional check-ins or questions for the net, please call now.
And that concludes our net for this evening. Shut it down.
W0ASB.
W0ASP, go ahead.
Step out for a minute because my son came home with brakes that were on fire. So after putting out that fire, I missed your comment. Was this about satellite communication in horizontal and vertical?
Yes, it was. I've been playing around with home-built Yagi antennas. I have one that I run the horizontal and vertical between the 2 meter and 440 sides, and I built one that I've been running both the same direction. Been playing with that, seen a few different places online where people are having fairly good luck with it, so I figured I'd give it a try.
Well, while I'm not familiar specifically with any specific amateur satellite, most satellites transmit circular polarization because of the ionosphere effect, and there's something called Faraday rotation. And the satellites tend to have circularly polarized antennas, which eliminates Faraday rotation. And on the ground, you can use linear polarization, which also does not subject you to the Faraday rotation effect, but it does cost you a 3 dB in signal strength.
Yeah, that's a good point there, but yeah, and I know there's times where using the amateur satellites, I'll have a good signal if I'm holding it vertical, and then it'll start fading, but if you twist the antenna, you can start getting the stronger signal because of the Faraday rotation and stuff like that, even though it shouldn't. I know I've even went as far as I've just used rubber duck antenna on an HT and been able to receive from it, and haven't been able to actually transmit through the satellite using a rubber duck. I've only ever had luck using the directional, but I know it can be done. So always stuff to play with and have fun trying different things. So that's what the hobby's about, is experimentation. There's a snake in my boot. This is KA6ET, net control for this evening's NCARC TechNet. If you have any additional check-ins or questions or comments for the net, please call now. Yeah, that concludes our net for this evening. I hear nothing. I'd like to thank each station for checking in this evening. Look forward to hearing from you next week. Hopefully we have a a few more check-ins. I know the weather's been nice, so a lot of people have been out enjoying the weather in the summertime. But this is KA6ETE, net control for this evening's NCARC TechNet. And 7-3, have a good evening, and the repeater is open for general use.
This presentation was brought to you by the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.